Welcome to Small Town Snarks. I'm Joel.
And I'm Miranda. Let's get snarky.
What happened to Benny? What happened to his heart? And the ideals he once pursued? And the owner of that lot next door has the right to do with it as he pleases. Happy birthday, Jesus. We're back.
And we have a friend.
We do have a friend.
More like an acquaintance.
Oh, whoa. We've known this person almost as long as we've known each other. It's been many, many moons.
And I may or may not have said today that, what did I say? My Darryl meter is running low.
More of his battery, but it's okay.
Yeah, it was something about a battery.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, welcome, Darryl.
This is a long-awaited episode, not only for you yourself, but also for all of the listeners out there.
Yep.
I'm gonna say this because Darryl says it all the time, and we always deny it. But like, where would we be without Darryl?
I have no response. I'm speechless.
Darryl is a pillar.
Oh, jeez.
A staple in the Small Town Stars community.
You're making me blush.
Darryl is indescribable.
How would you describe yourself, Darryl?
Yeah.
For the people.
I'm going to use the words you told my dad during Into the Woods. Chaotic.
Chaotic.
I told your dad?
Yeah, y'all guys were talking after Into the Woods, and I think either he said I was chaotic, you said I was chaotic, y'all disagreed with each other.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. I mean, one of my favorite things, so we're going to, ultimately, at the end of this conversation, we're going to wrap up Odd Couple, because Darryl, you were, spoiler alert, in the Odd Couple.
I was.
Yes.
It was
you were.
A blast.
But we'd be remiss if we didn't take a big jump back into the past. Darryl, we have known you since the dawn of time.
August of 2013. It was
August of 2013.
It's a time to be alive. I had a mohawk. I wore skinny jeans all the time. I wore band shirts every day. It was man.
So we went to high school with you.
Yes.
Yeah. So you arrived as I was on my way out of high school. Darryl showed up and I said, "It's time to go." No.
I talk to Darryl way more now than I think I ever did in high school.
Oh, I
It's
agree with
kind
that
of
statement.
interesting.
I'm glad you brought that up because in high school I feel like I kind of knew your mom better than I knew you because like she like helped with our costumes and I like me and her had more conversations. And
I knew what you meant, but the way that you said it was
you were just kind of there.
You were just...
I was just kind of there.
Which is good, you know.
We're calling this episode Miranda was just kind of there. Thank you for that boost of confidence.
Darryl, it honestly has gotten to a point where, like, because I mean, I remember you from high school, and I remember us, like, we interacted, you know, but,
I was
like...
a little scared of you for a little bit.
Scared of me?
Because, like, I didn't do a whole lot of theater growing up, and,
Okay.
like, I did one show my freshman year of high school.
Yeah. Do you remember what show that was? Which
It
one
was
it?
Zombie Prom.
Oh, yeah, okay.
It was fun.
Yeah.
My cast members were interesting.
Okay.
I'll leave it at that.
So that was your kickoff, though, to theater?
Yeah.
Okay. So
and after that, I was like, I may not do theater again. So when I got here and a friend of mine from marching band introduced me to you guys, I was like, oh, they do theater. That's cool.
Okay.
And that made you scary.
That made me scary. Now, what made me scary? Like, I'm really curious.
You kind of like ran the theater department. It felt like if someone like I guess needed anything or like wanted anything, they had to like kind of go through you.
So listeners, if you want more context to that, I recommend going back to episode 1 of this podcast.
Yeah.
That'll explain why it probably felt
Joel
that
was
way.
not a teacher.
Joel was not a teacher.
He wasn't.
No. He just played one on TV. No, yeah, I'm sorry you felt that way. Because I genuinely, and like what I was about to say before we went down that path was, I feel like you've been around for so long and we've all had this really great working relationship, friendship for so long that like, it's almost hard to remember like what was high school and what was STS. Like the lines were just so blurred.
It
just
all lives in my head rent free. It's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean that in the best possible way. And I say this to Darryl a lot, and I think a lot of people would say this that have interacted with you over the years at STS or just wherever. Like, you are just genuinely very, very funny, and you're always very lighthearted at all times. And people, I don't know how to say this the best way, but I'm going to say it this way, and you could probably agree with me. I'm sure you would agree with me too, but like, you know how to dish a joke and also receive a joke all at the same time. And I think that's why people just you're like a magnet to people. Like,
I'm the youngest out of 4 kids. My siblings are 6, 7, and 10 years older than me. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you do just have a very positive energy and just, yeah.
We did have to say to him before Matilda not to threaten to take any of the kids' lunch money because they might not understand that you're joking.
Darryl's jokes are not always for everybody. Not everybody.
I learned that the hard way. It was, oh man. I don't know if I can say it on the podcast, but I'll say it off camera.
Okay. All right. Yeah, some of my favorite, like, well, let me ask you before, because I know we have our favorite Darryl moments, but before we get into like all of your, experience with STS, like what is your favorite memory with STS to this point?
There's a lot to pull from.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I've done like 17 shows with the company, I think. 17?
Have we done that many shows? 17! Is that so? Sorry.
You're good. God, there's so many. I'm gonna say off the whim when I saw Little Shop of Horrors, because that was sort of my gateway back into doing theater.
I love that.
Because I did Grease and Heathers. I stopped doing shows for 4 years, which, looking back on it now, wasn't the smartest idea. Mm-hmm. And then I was sitting at home one day and I said, I wonder what STS is up to. Mm-hmm. And I saw you were doing Little Shop. And I said, well, I'll go say hi to everyone. And I thought the show was really, really good.
Oh,
and I got to see a bunch of old faces, and someone from the cast kind of talked me into doing Godspell. And I was like, I don't know if I have it. It's been like 4 years. And I just said, you know what? I'll audition and see what happens.
Yeah.
And Godspell is, in my opinion, a really underrated STS show. Anytime I'm traveling somewhere, it's the show I always watch when I'm flying.
Aw, that's so sweet.
Really, yeah, it's either that or like the ballads from Mamma Mia or like bits of Bright Star, but it's like I always aim for Godspell. I don't know why. It was my comeback show, and it kind of taught me that.
I love the idea of you just being on a plane watching
day by day
STS videos.
I'm not gonna lie. I've had a couple times where I've gotten emotional on this podcast, and I didn't think this was gonna be one of them. But like, we just talked about Godspell and how we talked about Godspell quite a bit. We went through the highs and the lows and in the trenches, and we found our way out of it. And it was a trying.
I'm glad it did something positive for you.
Even though I almost passed out during rehearsal one time, but that's okay.
Yeah, when you were trying keto.
I was trying. I was like knee deep into keto, and I lost so much weight, but I was tired all the time.
So one thing that I'm not going to tell people. I've been through my own, journey with that whole process, but like I would never tell people how to eat, but I highly recommend eating carbs when you're in a musical. I just would highly recommend.
Circling back to the videos real quick, I just had one more thought on that I wanted to share, which is, we take videos of our shows for archival purposes. Obviously, they're not, distributed anywhere. It's just so, we have them for history. Mm-hmm. And I do remember, like, the video of my dad in Into the Woods in high school, and, like, he showed us, me and Kyle, the full video when we were little. And I've thought about it a couple of times. I'm like, wow, like, my kids are gonna have access to, like, my whole creative work.
Yeah.
Almost.
Mhm.
Like, it's just crazy to think about. I'm just so glad we have stuff that we can pull from and remember those shows.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So, I mean, just jumping into your experience with STS. So you were here at the beginning.
I was.
You were in the backyard.
I
Yep.
was.
The backyardigans.
You were part of the backyardigans.
Yeah. Injury-related story.
Oh.
Slightly.
Okay.
We were rehearsing Grease Lightning, and the part where we go and do the backflip. I remember I didn't prep myself in time, and I think I pulled a muscle in my shoulder.
Oh.
Yeah.
It was an
Theater is
intense
dangerous.
number, yeah.
It was, but it was a lot of fun. And going back to the video part, I remember there was rehearsal footage so we could like watch and practice. And this was like at the parking lot of the rec center. And I like how all of us collectively like pause in the middle of the dance to figure out what was next, as it was so chaotic.
It's, you got to learn and you got to put all the pieces together.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. But I always love that you always bring up my favorite things that you always say, and it's related to Grease, is that if there was ever a Mount Rushmore of STS, Darryl would belong on it. And you have said that so many times that thought process lives rent-free in my head on a regular basis, and I hope you know that that's just one of those things that I think about. I wake up in the middle of the night, and it's just, like, carved in a cliffside somewhere. It's just Darryl and Miranda's heads, just...
Okay.
Leave me out of it. I don't need to be on there.
Yeah, so you were in Greece.
I
What was your
was.
next show after Greece?
Heathers.
Oh, that's okay. Oh, yes, I
Heathers.
got out of order for a second. I was like, you weren't in Spring Awakening.
I was not.
No, but you were in Heathers.
I was in Heathers, the barn show.
The barn show.
The
Yes,
barn.
the barn show.
Out in the barn.
Darryl would love to rehearse outside or in a barn again.
He would.
It's so bare bones, and it's because I remember during those two shows we didn't have like a whole lot of resources to pull from, and like we didn't even have Slack. You
Yeah.
know,
What
so,
did we
like,
do without Slack?
Facebook groups.
We did do Facebook
Yes.
groups. Oh, I forgot about that.
And I always think there's something kind of special, like when just people just get together for one common purpose, and that's the focus. It's like this show, and not any of the other stuff.
What do you mean by other stuff?
Like,
This is turning into hard-hitting journalism.
Yep. Or
do
Drama.
I want to say like marketing or like promotion or anything like that? Yeah.
Oh,
I
okay.
think we-
You liked being the best kept secret.
I'm sorry. I keep hitting
Yeah.
the table. Oh my god.
Yeah, in a way. Welcome to my world.
Listeners,
Sorry.
that hiccup was
Joel being problematic.
yeah,
Anyway,
Joel being problematic.
Okay, so Grease and then Heathers. I remember you in Heathers. Daryl, my favorite, so many favorite things about Daryl.
There's a lot of
Joel
things.
just saying
There's a lot
positive
of
things about
things.
Daryl manages to steal the scene or steal the show whenever he's on stage. It's just Daryl.
I had to kiss a girl.
You did have to kiss a girl in Heathers.
It was cool. It was fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I also
Okay.
was. What, can I say a stunt double? Yeah.
You were a stunt double?
You weren't a
Well,
stunt double.
Not a stunt double.
You
you did
did
a-
tricks in the show.
That's what I meant. Yeah. See, this is why you're a smart.
What
monkey.
trick was it that you did? Do you remember?
So I had to. Oh jeez, I had to like flip someone, or like they had to like land on me and like flip forward.
Uh-huh.
It's like watching it. It makes sense. But trying to explain it, it's kind of convoluted.
So you were like laying on the floor, and the
Yes.
person ran up and
Yeah.
kind of did like a front walkover, kind of over his, like using his hands as support.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I also had to carry a girl on my shoulders.
Okay.
I had to do like some little neck choreography, which was a little hard.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Yeah, you know. Just, like I said, always memorable moments when you're on stage. So,
Hers was a fun show, but it made me realize I had a lot of insecurities, and it seemed like everybody in that show was better than me, and I didn't know how to handle that. And that kind of like made me think, do I want to keep doing theater? I don't know.
So I'm going to ask, just, I mean, with Heather's in particular, I mean, that's a really interesting feeling to bring up. Was doing shows with STS kind of your only, like, theater experience outside of high school? Like, was that your first, like...
No, graduated June?
Mm-hmm.
So 6 months after I graduated, I did a professional show with a company out where we went to high school at.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like my first lead in a play. It was children's theater, but it was a lot of fun. And like, you know, everyone there was older than me, and I kind of had to, ironically enough, behave myself.
Uh-huh.
But it was a good experience, you know what I mean? And then Grease came along. That was a lot of fun. I could, you know, talk about Grease all day.
Mm-hmm.
And then I did another show like immediately after Grease because I'll admit I got kind of a big head. The standing ovations kind of went to my head a little bit, and I thought I was unstoppable. I thought, you know, I can do anything and everything. And I realized I had some vocal abilities that I didn't really think I had, and then I took voice lessons, and then I thought I was doing everything right. And then things didn't work out my way, and then it was a blow to my ego. And looking back on it, I think I kind of needed that.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And a lot of the things that I wanted to do then that I'm doing now, I look at it and I just think I wasn't ready.
Okay.
I don't think I had the maturity to like handle it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah.
Well, and I mean, like, this is something we've talked about on the podcast, especially with those early years. It was kind of like a discovery for us to like recognize, you know, the level of talent, and as, you know, people continue to audition into our shows, having that realization of like, wow, okay, people are coming in here and they're bringing in skills that we hadn't experienced in like our high school shows or in our other productions. And like every single time we do a new show, we find new people that bring different skills to the table. And it's just interesting to hear that from a like an actor's perspective of like, you know, it's like that old adage of like, small fish in a big pond versus like big fish in a small pond, and like how that plays a role in the theater. So interesting. Thank you for sharing that.
Oh, anytime.
I think for a lot of the cast members of Grease, it was a difficult transition into the next show because, like, it'll never be the experience that Grease was, because it'll never be our first show.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
And I think, like, that group was so unique because we created the company together, kind of. Like, we established what the company was going to be. And then going to the next show, it wasn't the same because it could never be the same. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I do think, Darryl, that your feelings are not uncommon there.
It's almost like there's like this ownership energy of like you help create and establish something, and like
that's crazy to think about, because I look at myself as like the funny guy who's just always cracking jokes backstage because I have no social skills, and I'm thinking, well, if I make them laugh, maybe they'll like me. So yeah.
It's very deep, Darryl.
Yeah. And because I'm not, like, when I was a kid, I didn't really want to be an actor. I wanted to, like, play in a rock band. So, even though I've done a lot of theater, I wouldn't say I feel out of my element, but part of me is just, like, I don't always know what I'm doing, and I kind of like that. Because it keeps things, like, fresh and new, and I think, you know, once you get a rhythm of like doing things, it can get kind of stale, and maybe you may not be paying attention to certain things. So yeah.
So getting to try new things is kind of just, you know, something that's always interesting to you, because you get to build on your skills and you get to keep you on your toes. I like that.
Well, and that's the cool thing about, you know, theater or art too, is like every show is a different experience because the show requires different things. And I think that, you know, at least keeps me going when I'm super busy. It's like, well, but it's a unique set of challenges. It's not just like doing the same thing every day. Yeah, and I remember you said to me at one point, you were like, I know that you don't always have it together, but you always look like you have it together. And I think that's part of it, is just like the fake it till you make it mentality.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, just jumping from Heather's, I want to go through some of these shows like rapid fire, so that way we can take just a few minutes to talk about Odd Couple, because we do need to wrap that show up. I know we're going to want to talk about Mamma Mia, because I know that was a big experience for you.
Oh,
we also need to talk about favorite Darryl memories, because I have a few.
Oh, yes. We'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Mamma Mia. So you mentioned that Mamma Mia is really big, or was a really big
That summer was perfect.
I love that for you. And honestly, that summer had one of my favorite Darryl roles of all time. But you want to talk about Mamma Mia a little bit?
Yeah, so I did Godspell, and I had a really good time doing it. And then Miranda talked me into doing Odd Couple. Not that I didn't want to do it, just I was in school, I was working, and then Godspell was so sudden and it messed in my GPA, but it was worth it.
It didn't take much convincing.
It really
I was just like, hey, want to do Odd Couple? Yeah, I guess.
And then submitted some audition videos, and we had our read-through, and had a lot of lines to memorize, and so our version of Odd Couple was the female version, so the main characters were all women, and my character was supposed to be a woman, but I played him as a guy, which...
A gay man,
Which, I didn't think it brought any challenges, I just thought, well, how could I interpret, Mickey as, a gay cop with a husband? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That was a lot of fun. A lot of funny moments, a lot of moments on stage I wish I could have seen, but I had to kind of listen because, chaos and whatnot. But Mamma Mia was a show I really, really wanted to do because I know music's fun. And, me being a musician, when I'm doing a musical, I'm always focused on just the music and, what this song means to the character. And I'm not always focused on the story, which, I felt like Mamma Mia was, a test in a way of, do I still have it? Could I still keep doing this? And the rehearsals weren't too bad. It wasn't too hard. It, was, run of the mill. But then we opened, and then the audience reaction, and then we did our bows, and I was like, oh, they like us. Yeah. They really like us. Mm-hmm. And then having experienced that 4 times in a row, it was euphoric. Mm-hmm. And to this day, I wish I could relive it.
Those audiences were unbelievable for Mamma Mia.
Yeah.
And, this isn't to, take away from your performance, because, again, Darryl, every show that you do is memorable, but, they were just so rapturous for that show. And I love that was such a positive experience for you.
Yeah.
That just, sometimes when you're an actor, we joke about it all the time, you get that Saturday matinee crowd where it's okay, does someone need to go check some pulses to make sure that people are still with us and enjoying the show? And I say that very lightheartedly. It's just, sometimes they're just very quiet, and it just, you never know, how they're receiving the show. And that Mamma Mia Saturday afternoon audience, they were up in the aisles.
They all came from brunch.
They came, yes.
They came from brunch.
Yes, I understand that brunch energy, and then, you come in to see a fun matinee. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So I'm glad that was such a positive experience.
Thanks.
I would be remiss if I didn't mention my favorite Darryl performance of all time.
Of all time?
Of all time.
Okay.
And I'm definitely biased.
Might fight you on it.
Oh, man.
Well, and I think I know what your favorite Darryl performance is. But we'll wait
I don't
and see.
know. I just have some favorite memories.
Okay, well, I'm going to say this, and then we'll get into favorite memories, and then we'll jump back to Odd Couple for a few minutes. But my favorite Darryl performance of all time was in Bright Star.
I appreciate that. And to go off of Bright Star, you did a really good job directing that show.
Well, thank you.
I feel like because, that season got overshadowed a little bit with Mamma Mia and Ren and Evil Dead and, Odd Couple and Bright Star, kind of the shows I don't really get talked about a whole lot, but it's a really underrated show.
Agreed.
Adore that musical. Miranda and I have been talking about Bright Star a lot recently.
Yeah, we've been talking about bringing it back.
Just because it's a beautiful musical. Really great musical. But, the dynamic between you and... really upset this person hasn't come on yet. I know they're coming up. Eventually. I know they want to be on the podcast for Mamma Mia, so we'll talk to them soon. Yeah. But until then, I won't reveal their identity. But your scene partner in that show, like the relationship that you both had and the way you two created those characters, I actually have, and I'll show you this afterwards. We'll add this into the podcast or into the, like, when we promote this episode, but like, I have a picture, or I have a file on my phone of stage photos that I really love, and one of them is of you and your acting partner in that show hiding behind the desk.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those moments where, like, as a director, I was so incredibly proud of, like, the relationship that you both had and the characters that you both developed, and, like, the dynamic that you all had during that show was just perfect.
Name another iconic duo.
I can't. And
Can't.
I can't. I can't.
The iconic duo.
They also started running, some social media stuff together.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things is when that scene partner was on Instagram and was like, all right, we're about to start Act 2, but we'll see you after Act 2. And Darryl said something like, yeah, in about, 30 minutes. And this person was like, do you know how long this show is? Like, what?
Proving the point that I don't always know what I'm doing.
I was, and honestly, that was like the year of Darryl. I mean, your performance in Rent,
Oh man, that was my dream show.
Well, I've got to touch on Evil Dead.
I knew that's where you were going to go.
One of my favorite Darryl moments is in Evil Dead.
Uh-huh.
And he was the ghost dad. And there's a scene where he would appear in the window. And this man, I never gave a note about it because it was so funny to me, and I wanted it to keep happening. He would be in that window like 10 minutes before he needed to be, and he would just be like visible to everyone, but he kind of like blended in with the scenery and stuff until he started speaking. But Dakota, Eric, and Jacob would just kind of look at each other and be like, when is he going to come out today? Is it going to be like 3 songs before?
I didn't want to miss my cue. And I remember that you gave me a note about that.
Well, because you were playing whatever it was on your phone.
It was definitely Injustice.
Yeah.
It's a DC game.
You were playing that on your phone, and people were worried you were going to miss your cue, and which you didn't. You were there about 10 business days early, but you were there.
I didn't realize it until I watched Evil Dead, and I'm like, oh, welp.
It took you that long to realize. I love that.
That's so good. Gosh, and Darryl, I'm just, as we talk about like other moments that you're in or other shows that you've been in, just more pop into my mind, and I'd be really upset if I didn't bring up Rodolfo.
Oh man.
Darryl, again, playing opposite the same acting partner from Bright Star, played this incredible dancer, professional dancer in Matilda. And the song was Loud. That was the name of it. It was also Loud, but you came out there and you did your thing, and you were Darryl. And when in doubt, we always know that when we need Darryl and we need a Darryl part, it's just always Darryl.
It's funny, that role, like, my inspiration for that role was one DC Mo from Fairly Odd Parents, because they're so similar.
Oh, yeah, they're almost identical.
Well, I mean, Jacob would always say, if you just watch Darryl, you get like a completely different show, and it's great. Like, but it is different. So he would spend run-throughs just dedicating all of his viewing to Darryl.
I appreciate that.
Gosh, that's so true, though.
We can't pass Avenue Q and the dry humping of the vacuum.
Okay. Let me explain that.
Who were you in Avenue Q?
I was Gary Coleman. From TV's Different Strokes. Mm-hmm. That was supposed to be a broom. But we went to the venue where we were performing at,
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't find a broom.
Mm-hmm.
And I was about to go on. I was like, I need to find some cleaning equipment and fast. I'm like, oh, there's a vacuum.
Mm-hmm.
I'll use that.
He violated that poor vacuum.
Oh,
And I just want to say, there are many things that I'm not great at, but I'm very proud of myself for maintaining a straight face while right out of the corner of my right eye, there are nude puppets having sex. And then in front of me is Darryl making love to a vacuum.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot to unpack there.
There is.
Yeah.
It felt like a fever dream.
It was a fever dream.
It's like, what is happening?
Listeners, if you are a performer, this is your lesson to always check your props before you go on stage. Or if you don't, you might end up on stage with a vacuum cleaner.
I think we should probably buy them a new vacuum cleaner.
Oh, jeez. No. I'm glad you brought up Avenue Q because that show was an interesting experience.
How was that?
It was hectic backstage. Without revealing too much because we haven't, gotten there yet, but there's a lot of, production mishaps, and there were times where we thought, is this show really going to happen? And by the time we opened, we pulled it together, and I think we did a really good job.
And it happened.
It did happen.
Yeah. Oh, we'll definitely have to have you back on to talk about Avenue Q when we get there.
Yeah.
Got a lot to talk about.
Many moons from now.
I feel like, we gotta wrap this up in a bow, but I feel like we're gonna have to have Darryl come back for a part 2, because we've got more memories. Do you want to end it with the Into the Woods iconic Darryl moment?
Oh, yeah.
The witch refused to tell him any more of his sister. Not even that her name was Cinderella. She went on.
Darryl, as the... Oh, I really missed the opportunity if I didn't mention I was Darryl's understudy for that show.
And you were.
There were many times where I was concerned I was going to have to go on. But my favorite one was, Darryl just
changed the
plot of Into the Woods. Not we've talked about this in our mishaps episode, but just completely just changed the name of the character.
Yeah. Part of that was because I thought it would be a good idea to go on a 5-day cruise before Tech Week. I partied. I drank. I brought my script along with me. I was at the airport at like 4 a.m. so I could look at my lines because, that show, I mess around a lot when I'm backstage sometimes, but like Into the Woods was one of those shows where it's like I made an effort to take it as seriously as possible because I was thrusted into being the narrator kind of like, I won't say last minute, but within a month of us opening. And, this is a tribute to our friend, Jacob, who's no longer with us. So I wanted to be the best narrator I can conjure up. But also I'm myself, so there were a few mishaps.
Well, I can tell you what, I'm pretty sure Jacob would have been on the floor laughing when you changed the entire plot in a single line.
I didn't even realize I said it until everyone was like, you said Cinderella. I'm like, wait, what?
Also, your phrase, I'm going to correct your phrasing a little bit. You were always the narrator understudy.
I was. Excuse me. I should have
and you got a
brought that up
month's
before.
notice.
I did.
Which understudies don't normally get. My favorite part of that whole thing was like a month before the show, we're like, hey, Darryl, like, you are a narrator now. You are going to go on. And for the next 2 weeks, periodically, you would go up to me, Joel,
other cast members,
maybe Savannah, other cast members, and say, hey, do you think I'm really going on as the narrator?
This went on for 2 weeks.
And we'd be like, yes, you are. You are the narrator.
Yeah, we literally, you and I had to have we refer to them as come to Jesus moments, but like we went to, this time it was a come to Darryl moment.
Yeah.
It was Darryl, you are going on as the narrator.
Didn't he say something like, oh, what, really?
Yeah, My favorite was just like, for multiple times those 2 weeks, you would come up to us individually together and say, like, what are the odds that I'm going to go on?
I remember that.
100%.
They're high. They're very, very high.
And then Joel and I would have phone calls on the way home from rehearsals, and I would be like, hey, Joel, you're looking at those lines, right?
Oh, man. No, it's just because, you know, I wouldn't say put pressure on myself, but I was telling the story, so it was it was the one role where I was like, okay, I really can't mess this up.
I'm going to definitively say to you, Darryl, and listeners, if you ever do a show with me, if I ever come up to you and say, hey, you're going to play a part, I'm never joking.
No.
I will never go up to you and say, hey, we're doing Into the Woods, you're playing the narrator, and then 5 minutes later say, ha, just kidding.
You'll know when it's a joke. Like, if he comes up to you, like, if he were to come up to you, Darryl, and say, Darryl, we need you to go on for Cinderella.
I would love to see it.
I would love to see it, but that's likely a joke. But if he comes up to you and says, you need to go on for the role you're understudying for, that's 100% serious.
Okay.
Could you imagine Darryl singing on the steps of the palace?
Oh, gee.
Or just like his fall, like coming in and slipping, shoe flying.
I'm ready for it.
Darryl, your fault? I just can't.
The End of the Woods was fun.
So iconic. I just love it.
Insert him in any scene.
Pick any musical. I mean, any show that Daryl's ever done, just swap him with somebody else.
Oh, man.
Daryl as Alice Murphy. That would be...
Wow.
Yeah.
That would be a moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Daryl
man.
as Joanne. Daryl as Maureen.
As Donna.
Daryl as Donna.
Iconic.
The winner would take it all.
Oh,
Don't change anything else.
Yes.
Only that.
that one
So,
thing.
to tie this up in a pretty bow, because this is also our ending of The Odd Couple.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was you enjoyed that experience. You were happy that you participated.
I did.
And you're staying around.
Yeah, I did 6 shows in a row that year. It was a little crazy, but it was fun.
Yep. Well, Darryl, we're definitely going to have you back. And honestly, you're always on because you're right across the table from us.
I am. I was, I think it was episode 36 or 37. I was, I don't say I was being noisy, but y'all were talking about, like, ice cubes. Like square, like circle ice cubes or something like that.
That was our Unhinged Questions episode.
And, like,
yeah.
I was talking more than I normally would, and Miranda was like, keep it down over there.
Yes.
I need a
Darryl
mic.
does like 2 things that really make me laugh whenever we record podcasts, and we were joking about both of them earlier. Well, actually, this one we haven't talked about today, but I'm going to bring it up. Darryl counts us down to every episode, and you'll never hear it when we're actually recording. But before we start recording, every time Darryl goes going live.
Yeah, we're never live, by the way.
We've never done a live
Yet.
No.
Yet. We've, somewhere down the line we'll do a live episode, but Darryl always says going live in 5, 4, and I just panic every time because I'm like, I was not prepared to go live. That, and then also Darryl always asks us for 10 to 60 seconds of quiet time to record room tone.
It's because the air conditioning and the lights make
but every time
noise.
it changes every time between 10 and 60 seconds.
Yep.
And then Darryl always proceeds to be the loudest one during that time.
Yes,
Sometimes.
every time.
Sometimes.
Without fail.
If you ever want to hear Darryl perform Stomp, it's during the 10 to 60 seconds of room tone.
I
Every
feel
time.
like we should leave this episode unmixed and unedited just to emphasize the chaos.
Yeah, that is.
We're
not
gonna have to
happen.
cut that.
Of course.
I really hope when we do edit it that there's just silence there.
Yeah.
Where that just happened.
Of
If you
course.
heard awkward silence or a massive bleep, it's because my husband is running sound today.
Mhm.
Probably massive silence because putting in the bleeps is kind of annoying. When I was doing Dakota's episode, I was like, wow, he cussed so much times.
It's just his So like he uses curse words as in between words.
He does, and
we love him for it.
I'm like, okay, maybe it's a few. I'm like, oh man, I gotta like put little markers in. I put in little markers, and I'm like, dang.
Yeah, we're just gonna roast him.
But it's cool. My parents are veterans, so I'm used to foul language.
Okay. On that note,
well, listeners,
thank you for your parents' service.
We are closing out Odd Couple. We'll see you next week for Mamma Mia.
Mamma Mia, are you gonna be a dancing queen?
I'm always the dancing.
Does your mother know
are you
that
gonna
you're
have
out?
your bells on? I'm gonna have my bells on.
Spoiler alert, we actually recorded this after the Mamma Mia episode, and I can guarantee you that my bells were definitely on.
But now your tired eyes are on. I can see them.
It's been a long day. We decided to record on a Monday. It's the time.
Because someone is too busy. Your schedule, you're too in demand.
I'm a very popular person these days.
All right, well, we'll see you next time, and I'm sure we'll have more Darryl moments to talk about in the future.
Also,
thank you, Darryl.
Shout out to one of our viewers. I'm not going to say her name or how she's related to the podcast, but I see her comments on all of our videos. We appreciate you.
It's my grandma.
And we do appreciate
And she
her.
loves the podcast, and we do appreciate her.
See, I was like, if I say it's her grandmother, like, will she get mad at me?
No.
She's going to love the shout out.
Yeah.
Great.
All right. See you next time.
Give me your lunch money.
And that's a wrap. Thanks for getting snarky with us. We'll see you later.
See you next time.